Hi friends. Um, I've had a lovely week. I'm about to go on a little holiday for my 1 year wedding anniversary stroke kind of basically our honeymoon because we didn't particularly have one. So on Monday we're going away for a nice little rural retreat, just the two of us, me and my husband. Um, so yeah, I've just had a nice kind of week in the build up to that, and it's been kind of weather's been all over the place, but it's getting hot again. So I think we're gonna have like, and I'm just thinking, I've had a oh touch wood, I've had a lucky week in a number of ways that I'll tell you about, but one of them seems to be that we've had weird weather, including quite a lot of rain and some randomness this week just gone, and yet next week looks like it's going to warm up. So I think we're going to have like 27 degrees while we're up in Cambridgeshire stroke Essex or whatever way that is. I can't remember. And yeah, so I think we're going to actually have garden time, hot tub time, all of that fun things in the sunshine, or at least in the warmth. So I'm taking up basically a whole bunch of samples because we're going to make our little video next week. I don't know when I'll be able to post it. Depends on like what we're up to and if I have time to edit things and how much my husband swears, and hopefully we'll both try not to. Um, but anyway, yeah, so I'm going to take up some other samples that I just want to wear, want to try, like all kinds of things. So next week's what I wore last week is probably just going to be a massive sample fest, so you might have to bear with me. Although I might take up a couple of samples, like little carded samples of things that I now have bottles of, so I'll be able to show you properly. So I also, if you wait till the end of the video, and then you can switch off if you're not interested in hearing me talk about things I don't have bottles for. I also went to Westfield in Stratford this week, and I went to, I think I want to call it Beauty Bay, but Beauty Base, that's what it's called. Which, if you ever get the chance to go to a Beauty Base, they have such an incredible collection of perfumes because they have the more expensive designer stuff, including like up to Chanel, but they also have like Elizabeth Arden, and then move down, they have Bruno Banani, they have like all these kind of like right from kind of 150 quid bottles right down to £6 bottles. Do you know what I mean? They've got a real mixture, and they also sell like Al Rahab oils, all that kind of thing. So I sniffed a lot of stuff this week, huge amounts. I didn't wear a massive amount, but I sniffed huge amounts, and I tested a few as well. Anyway, blah 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 blah. Oh my god, and before I say anything else, thank you so much to everyone who subscribed to me. I literally just hit 1,000, which means I'm now part of the kind of affiliate program. So I've got rid of my Buy Me a Coffee page, and now I've been able to start membership. So if anyone wants to be a member, I'm going to be, if I do actually have anyone join, I'll put exclusive content and exclusive videos up on there, just little bits and pieces. I'll continue with my normal videos here, though, of course, because nobody really has to pay for YouTube if you don't want. But yeah, so now I'm part of the affiliate program, which means I'm like a creator who actually sometimes gets a little bit of money back for the adverts they make you watching my videos. So it's just incredible. I can't believe like that I've got 1,000 subscribers. I'm incredibly excited, and I really appreciate it. And for anyone else who's like told anyone else about my channel or shouted me out, thank you so much. Everyone's awesome. Now I should get on with this, shouldn't I? Because I've been babbling on for ages, as is my wont. So this is from Lush, and I think I talked about this I didn't have this bottle a while back when I made my actual Lush videos, but I said I really like this one, but how many violet perfumes from Lush does one woman need? Because I have confetti, I have American cream, which although is like multi-floral, I find quite violety. But I saw this on eBay, it was an absolute steal, so I thought I'm going to get it. Now if you can see this liquid, it's got a reddish tone, so I think this is, I mean, what's the date on this? I think it's one of the newer ones. Yeah, it's used by 2026, I think that says. So this is one of the newer ones. The new ones are bright red, like bright red. When you spray them, they're red, which is weird and didn't smell quite as strong to my nose as this one. But then the older ones, and if you look at the picture on the Lush site, it's got more of a slightly green liquid. So I'm assuming there's some kind of dye in this. I don't know. Or they've changed the formula in the last few years. Also very possible because it's not beastly. Now, this is definitely one to test because I do think It is very violety, but it's also got quite a lot of cedar in it. But in a classic Lush way, this one takes you through a slightly natural smelling, maybe not amazing start, and then dries down into something gorgeous. So the only notes they give you here are ylang ylang in the top, which I love, middle notes of violet, which I also love, and then base notes of cedar and cloves. So the thing that people might struggle with there is cedar and cloves, but I think you get a lot of quite natural smelling cedarwood and that slight spice from the cloves when you first spray this. And then it dries down and it kind of goes, you can get the violet the whole way through, but it moves into like ylang ylang. And then in the deeper dry down, and what you're left with is a very soft, fluffy, creamy violet. And there is a warmth from those cloves. If you don't like cloves, you might not like this. You certainly won't like it when you first spray it, but the dry down is kind of magical. Yeah, it's warming, it's pretty. This is one that I wore on a cold day. If I look at the ingredients, what does it say? It says essential violet, a slice of intrigue, a dash of mistaken identity. What? Lashings of champagne? What are they talking about? It says a delicate floral fragrance that's just a little bit gothic, one of Lush's first perfumes, released in 1995. Oh, that's giving me the feels. What have we got? Cedarwood oil, ylang ylang, clove bud, violet leaf absolute. Anything else? Oh, geraniol. So you've got that. You've got some of the classic benzoyl bentonate. You've got some of those classic warm and floral notes that you get in most Lush perfumes. But yeah, the dry down is magical. I have to say it's a tiny bit kind of woody spicy green at first, in a way that every time I spray this, the first few minutes I'm like, maybe I shouldn't wear this today, maybe this was a mistake, and then it dries down and I'm obsessed and I love it. So yes, so that's V by Lush. I wonder if I can put this in a way that looks better than just straight on. Whatevs. I also wore another one from Lush, which I'm obsessed with and I love. I absolutely love this perfume. I've loved it for a while, and I think I said I loved it when I did my other one, but oh my goodness, I wore this. Keep It Fluffy. Look at that. That it's the colour of joyous sunshine. I mean, you could also say it's the colour of urine, but it's the colour of sunshine to me. It smells like sunshine. This is a very tangy floral, and it's got a sort of sweet, slightly vanilla and tonka bean dry down that I'm obsessed with. And like, I was feeling myself so much in this perfume that I genuinely thought to myself, I can't believe no one's coming up to me and telling me how nice I smell. I don't understand why no one stopped me in the streets. I don't know why no one's told me at work. I don't know why I thought that, because that's just not something that really happens in the UK in regular life. Like, unless you know people really well and they know that you're like a perfume obsessive, people don't normally comment on how you smell because it's not considered to be particularly polite to do so, even if you're being nice. So, but I loved this so much when I wore it this week, that I kept waiting for someone to come up and say, oh my god, you smell amazing, and I would have been like, yeah, I know, oh my god, it's Keep It Fluffy from Lush and I'm obsessed. That's how much I loved this. It obviously worked really well in this kind of, I mean, I guess it wasn't really autumnal, but it was starting to feel more autumnal, and it just was so beautiful. It wasn't too hot, but it wasn't too cold, and it's okay, so it's rose and ylang ylang, right? So Keep It Fluffy, which is heaven. It's ylang ylang, rose, vanilla, musk, jasmine and orris root. So it is the classic combo from Lush of ylang ylang, rose and jasmine. Now there is a version of this perfume at which I consider to be its sister, which, oh my god, the name escapes me right now, but it has pretty much the same notes except that it's the jasmine that's higher up, and I really like that one as well, but I wasn't allowed to buy it because not only is it similar to this being like a tangy floral, but it's also got some similarities with Poem from Lancome. But I do absolutely love it. If I remember what it's called, I will. I'll check what it's called and I'll put it down with a little thing. So if you don't like a tangy rose and a kind of slightly banana-y ylang ylang as much as you like jasmine, then that other one is going to be better for you. But this one is just so pretty. I do say tonka. Is there tonka in it? Am I making that up? Let's have a quick look. Oh, Rose Absolute. Lemongrass oil. That's why it's so tangy, you see. No, I'm making it up. It's vanilla. It's not tonka, it's vanilla. It's delicious, though. Sugary Floral from 2004 with Regenerative Rose Absolute from Pakistan. It is stunning. But yeah, that lemongrass explains why it's slightly tangy. It doesn't list that on... interesting, it doesn't list it on Fragrantica, but I think that's a really good explanation of why it's tangy. I love it. I absolutely loved wearing that. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to have to wear that more often because it's a real beaut. Okay, so I'm going to follow up one that I absolutely loved wearing with one that I really did not love wearing. And I've had ups and downs, because when I first got this one, I was like, I don't think I can wear it. I think it's too salty. And then I wore it when it was really hot, and I was like, oh, it's actually all right. It's quite nice. It smells sexy. It smells musky on your skin. It's really nice. And then I wore it again, and it's just too salty. I think I have to accept this is too salty for me. But it is super pretty. This is Acqua Colonia Pomelo Sea Salt. And I mean, you don't get any more notes than that, but I'd say it's definitely got a musky vibe to it. The pomelo in it starts slightly sharp, but then it gets sweet. So it's like, it's not a screechy kind of grapefruity smell. It's a soft, gentle one. And then it starts to smell a bit like sexy skin and a sweet grapefruit. But with a ton of sea salt. Like, I know I've had some comments from people who say they don't find this super salty. So it's obviously like me being a bit sensitive. But I do struggle to wear salt, to be honest. Like, it often gives me a headache. This one, I just can't be comfortable in it, you know. I just cannot get comfortable in this particular perfume. So I think I'm going to have to pass it on, because I have, oh my God, I added in all of my pen sprays into my, and perfumes that I haven't reviewed on here yet. And I'm either still trying out, or I think I'm going to declutter, but I haven't got around to sorting that out yet. And my my amount of perfumes is well over 200 right now. So like, if I'm not comfortable in it, there's no point in my keeping it. But it's so pretty. This is last year's limited edition from one of them. I love the coconut yuzu, and I've actually got 2 bottles of that because I love that one so much. But this one, I just can't wear it comfortably, so there's no point in me keeping it. But I mean, on the plus side, if anyone's interested in this in the UK and you've been trying to get hold of this, let me know, and I'll tell you when I put it up on eBay. The next one is kind of a little bit of a classic, and I probably don't need to talk about it too much. Oh my jiminy. Katy Perry's Indi, wear it all the time. Absolutely love this perfume. Think it's delicious. So I'll do the notes. Oh, I'm trying to stop this being too like fluorescent, but I think it's just going to be bright. Let's have a look. There is so much musk. I love it. So top notes: plum, white tea, bergamot. Middle notes: white cedar extract, lily of the valley, cyclamen, musk. Oh, base notes: musk, white musk, black musk, Egyptian musk, island musk, tonka bean, amber. It smells a bit like coconut cream to me. I've got a really calming vibe from the tea. I think the white cedar actually, this to me smells like, it smells a bit like one of the Santal perfumes from Van Cleef & Arpels. I can't remember, I can never remember the name. So it has like a sandalwood vibe to me, this one. And I think when people talk about this, I often hear them saying sandalwood, even though on Fragrantica it lists white cedar. That might just be wrong on Fragrantica, but I get a load of tonka bean. It's super musky. It's really creamy, calming. This is my easy go-to. It's really good when I don't know what else to wear. And I was having one of those mornings where I was like, I was feeling a little bit fussy. I didn't really know what to wear. I knew I wanted something that wasn't too sharp, wasn't too green. I knew I wanted something that wasn't sickeningly sweet. And so this is like a really good in-between, because it is beautifully sweet from that tonka, but it's not got anything in it that upsets me. It's just like a second skin. That's what this smells like to me. And it is the one that I wear interchangeably, really, with, what's it called, with Stash Unspoken, because Sarah Jessica Parker's Stash Unspoken is like a beautiful, soft, skin-like sandalwood with a ton of tonka again. So it's got that same vibe, but it's much sweeter. It's a little bit more floral. And so that one is like my cold weather second skin, and this one's like my warmer weather second skin, but all year round for this, to be honest. Absolutely obsessed. I love it. You can get it for so cheap. It's one of my all-time favourite perfumes. So the next one is a little bit of a combo for me. It just so happened that this is the body lotion that I was wearing. I'm probably going to take this one on holiday with me just because it's just a little one. I can just chuck it in my bag. Actually, maybe I'll take my little tiny Lush one. I've got a little lime something. I don't know if they make it anymore. Really, really pretty. This is the tropical mango. I prefer I think it's called dragon fruit. Is it dragon fruit and papaya? I've got a big thing of that from Coco and Eve. But this is just a little one because this was from a set that my sister bought me for Christmas a few years ago. The tropical mango is quite similar, but it's like, it's very sort of vanillic and sweet. It smells a bit like a pudding, but it's slightly fruity. It's got that tropical fruit vibe, but yeah, it's definitely got a kind of puddingy smell to it. Super pretty. So I wanted to wear that one, and I wanted to put something over. I mean, to be honest, these would actually go quite nicely, but because I love this so much, I kind of don't want to interfere with the smell too much. But because I think there's coconut in this. So I wore this tiny little babe. This is Exotic Sun by Ulric de Varens. This is one of the little tiny bottles. They're about a £5, I think, from Makeup UK is where I got this. I've had this for a little while. This is a mango perfume. It's got like a few different things in it, but it's passion fruit and mango in the main. And it's got that kind of a Escada vibe to it, but it's not as shampooy as the Escadas. Yeah, it's really pretty. It's got a nice sweetness to it, and it kind of just works with this kind of thing because it's not massively strong. So you kind of get both of these, and they worked quite nicely together, in my humble opinion. So this has top notes of passion fruit and mango, delicious. Middle notes, lotus and water lily. Neither of those are like my favourite florals. I'm not too keen on the aquatic florals, but you don't really get a lot of that in this. It's mainly like a syrupy passion fruit and mango. Then the base notes are solar notes and coconut. It's really pretty. It doesn't smell fancy or expensive. It just smells fun and tropical. Yeah, it was just my mood. I just felt fun and tropical. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think it's really cute, that one. And it's such a bargain. So I'm taking another detour here. Sorry, this is going to be such a long one. But what I forgot to say about when I wore V is I was on a violet perfume kick. Reason being that I washed my hair with Daddio from Lush, which is a violet scented purple. Oh, it used to be purple, sort of is purple. Purple shampoo for blonde and white hair. And I have grey hair. My natural hair is like a very dark, very, very dark golden brown. But I've got loads of white hairs now as well. So just to make sure that the whites don't start looking a bit yellow and weird, every now and again I use Daddio. So just in case you're interested, this is the old Daddio. I'm just going to... and then hopefully you'll start to be able to see it's got this kind of pinky purpley sheen to it. It's like it was such a beautiful colour. It's like pearlescent. It's really, really nice. It was one of the greatest shampoos ever. I could wash my hair with this. It would be soft, fluffy. It wouldn't get greasy again for like 3 days. Well, on the third morning, that's normal for me. And I use Angel Hair shampoo bar normally. But every like month I will do a wash with Daddio just to keep my greys under control, my whites I should say. And it smells glorious. Let me just have a sniff. It's just heavenly, and this is such a strong scent. It's so strong, the old Daddio. It was one of those where I will always wear like some kind of perfume that either goes well with violet or is violety when I've used this, right? Because even if I use Candy something conditioner, which is one I often use with it, I just come out smelling like a Palmer Violet, you know? It's like, and if I don't use that particular conditioner, I still smell very violety. But they have changed Daddio, and it's a completely different colour. It's a different formula. It's not as good as it used to be. My hair gets greasy much quicker, and it's really a bit sad. So the colour I can live with, although I know this has been staining some people's hair, but I haven't had a problem with the actual colour. It's a bit cooler, so I don't like it quite as much as this one, but it's fine. It doesn't smell as strong. It doesn't last as long, the scent on your hair anymore. But more importantly, it just doesn't clean your hair as well, or at least it does. My scalp doesn't like it as much as this. So I kind of am now interchanging between this because I'm going to be gutted when this is gone. But so that's just yeah, I mean, even from the bottle, it's nowhere near as strong as it used to be. So there's far less perfume in it. But the reason I'm talking about this is because they've just brought out this violet cream. This is even more blue, if you can see, like really blue. But this is a really good conditioner, and I've been wondering I've been like, why don't you have a purple conditioner to go with Daddy-O? And they've brought one out, and it smells, it's pretty close to Daddy-O. It's not quite as, there's something else going on in there, but that'll be because of the actual formula, you know, the ingredients. But it's lovely. It says it's got lemon juice, raspberry seed oil, purple potatoes, and it's just fabulous. Yeah, violet leaf absolute, rose absolute, lemon juice, coumarin. It's fabulous. This worked really nicely. It made my hair look really nice. It smelled really nice. It looked really nice. So on the plus side, although my hair now gets greasier quicker with this one, at least this combination is pretty good. But yeah, I will be in mourning if they never put that formula back. I don't care what colour it is. And I know they said that, like, because of legislation, they've had to change it to this particular pigment. That's fine, don't care. But the actual formula has changed, and that's what is a bummer. Anyway, I'm sorry, I do digress, but that's why I wore V, because V goes with that perfectly, that kind of smell. Because Daddy-O is violety, but it's got like a real specific sort of slightly leafy smell about it, like slightly green smell. There's more going on, you know, than just violet. But this one, I wore it twice at the weekend. I wore it on Saturday and then I wore it on Sunday because I was obsessed, because it was chilly and I wanted to be snuggly. And I put it on and I just got so re-obsessed with it. This is Vera Wang Embrace Periwinkle and Iris. I can't wear this in weather when it's actually hot, because it's incredibly sugary. It's so lush though. It's called Periwinkle and Iris, but I would call this one Violet and Iris personally, because it is periwinkle blue in colour, you know, if you can see this gorgeous colour. But in terms of the actual scent, it's definitely much more irisy in hot weather with a bit of violet. But then I think in cold weather, I get more violet than I do iris. But either way, it is heavenly. I love it. The notes in this one are, did I say what it was? Vera Wang Embrace, yeah? You can get this for like under £15 and it's so magical. Top notes are bergamot and mandarin orange. Middle notes are iris, violet, periwinkle and jasmine. Base notes are whipped cream, sugar, vanilla and benzoin. So the benzoin gives it a warmth, but really this is whipped cream and sugar right at the top for me, and then iris, then violet. I think when you first spray it, maybe you get a bit of a sense of the citruses, but generally speaking, this is just a warm, creamy, unbelievably sugary. To me, it smells like candied flowers, you know. It smells like, you know, when you put them on cakes, when you get like, if you would have an iris or a violet is quite a normal thing to use, and you dip it in the egg white and then you dip it in the sugar and then they're like crystallized and you have them on cakes. That's what this is, and it's absolutely lush. So I wore it Saturday and I got so obsessed with it. I was like, I'm just going to put it on. I just wore it again on Sunday. I absolutely love it. So let's see. And then this baby is what I wore to work on Friday. This is an interesting one because the reviews, this is so sweet, by Lolita Lempicka. It's a completely, as far as I can tell, let me look. Yeah, it's a totally opaque bottle, this one. The normal sweet is in a see-through bottle, and the normal sweet I also have and I love, but that is very much a winter perfume for me. It's very syrupy, it's very sweet, it's got chocolate in it. It's like proper autumn winter. This one's lighter, fresher, it's more kind of tangy, like sherbety fruit. I think that this one really, I mean, it's definitely floral because it has iris, rose and angelica in it, right? So I'll give you the notes. Top notes are raspberry leaf, sour cherry, mandarin orange. Middle notes are iris, rose and angelica. Base notes are musk, cashmerian and amberwood. It's definitely got a noticeable iris because it has that little bit of kind of lipsticky smell to it, you know? So the rose and iris all together with that angelica as well is just kind of creating a kind of makeup-y smell. But the sour cherry is a proper sour cherry, like Haribo sour cherries. And then the raspberry leaf just smells like a very jammy, tangy raspberry. It is lush. I love this one. Some people say it's really synthetic. Some people just say it's really juicy. Some people really like it. Some people hate it. I think it does have a synthetic vibe, but it has a synthetic vibe in the same way that you get like a slightly synthetic vibe with anything that has that lipsticky smell. So if you don't like perfumes that have like a kind of lipstick vibe to them, you're not going to like it. If you like kind of tangy, fruity smells that also have a lipsticky base, you're going to be really into it. I just think it's lovely. You can get it for like pretty cheap. I've not worn this one for ages and I've really, really enjoyed it. It's not massively strong. It doesn't last for ages. It's definitely more floral in slightly warmer weather, but I just really enjoyed it. I thought it was super pretty and absolutely no regrets for wearing that one. Then I also wore this one because it wasn't smelling tar-like to me. So although once I know there is like a tar-like smell in something, I find it hard to kind of wear it. But then there are some that I can't always sense that smell in, and this is one of them. So this is Ariana Grande, God is a Woman. Kind of difficult to see because these pen sprays from Ariana Grande are so like delicate. I'm always so scared I'm going to break it. So I wear this one at home, generally speaking. It's one that I sometimes put on in the evening. And hopefully you saw I put my Donna Acqua review up. I got that sample a little while ago, and I just got round recently to making the little review, and then I put it up, and I'll explain why in a minute. But I was kind of trying to sniff some of my other pear perfumes to like think about what it reminded me of. And there is definitely like a synthetic version of Donna Acqua, you know, there is a little hint of that here. I really like the way this one dries down. I think it starts off smelling, it smells a little bit cheap when you first spray it, I won't lie. But when it dries down, I think it becomes really pretty, and I like this. It's not one that I need like a full bottle of, because as I said, like occasionally I can really smell the tar in it and it becomes unwearable. But I think it's so, so pretty when I'm in the right mood and when I don't get that kind of scent. So the notes here are top notes of pear and ambrette, and that is magical. Middle notes of orris and Turkish rose, and the rose I think is why I can deal with this perfume. I think it's what takes it in a slightly different direction when it's on my skin. Madagascar, vanilla and sandalwood in the base. It's not as sickly sweet as a lot of Ariana Grande's perfumes. It smells very much like a lot of her other perfumes in some ways though, right? Because there's quite often a kind of pear smell. There's a bit of mod vanilla going on here. There's a bit of like some of the cloud perfumes. There's a little bit of thank you next. There's loads of different kind of all different versions of her perfumes. Like there's a little bit of a lot of them in here. But the ambrette and the rose here, when it dries down, makes it much more kind of like a sexy skin scent, with pear, you know. So yeah, I do think this one's quite pretty. It's probably Thank You Next is my favourite from hers, but this is the next one down, you know. If I could wear Mod Vanilla, then that one's too vanilla-y for me. But if I could wear that one, I think that one's quite pretty too. But I can't do Cloud because it smells like medicine. Oh yeah. nearly forgot. And then I also, because I was doing my first bedtime ones, I just had to wear my little Demeter. I think, when did I film that? I can't even remember. But I think I wore this on maybe Monday night, bank holiday Monday night. And my robe still smells like this. Every time I walk past it, whenever I've put it on, it still smells like baby powder. Or as I said in that video, a bit like baby oil. Oh my goodness, can you hear the children screaming? I mean, I don't need to go into details, right? It smells like baby powder. It definitely has a slightly synthetic vibe because it's a Demeter, and a lot of them do. But yeah, I think the dry down, it smells, it's kind of the potency of baby oil, so it's a bit sweeter and stronger than actual baby powder, but it is powdery. It smells clean and pretty. I just like it. Okay, so last real life thing. As I said, I put up my Valentino Donna. Now, I fell in love with that perfume. I think it's so gorgeous. And I was thinking to myself, right, I'm just going to have a look. And I looked around, and it's about like 200 quid for a bottle of that. And I was like, no way. And then when I was at work in my lunch hour, I thought, I'm just going to have a little Google search. And when I Google search, which is how I found nearly all of my perfumes, I click in the shopping tab and I really go for it. I look at everything. I really explore. And I saw Perfume Click had a 50ml bottle of Donna Acqua with a damaged box for £41. And I thought this was a mistake. I thought they've got the wrong thing. I looked at the picture. It was a picture of the real thing. As in, like, it wasn't like a marketing photograph. It was a photograph of a bottle next to a damaged box. And I tried to buy it, and I couldn't get things to work on my mobile phone. So I emailed them, and I was like, I can't pay for this. It's in my basket. And I was expecting to get something back saying, oh, that's a mistake. And then I got an email saying, oh, no, it should be all fine. Try it on a desktop. And don't hate me, I now have a 50ml bottle of Donna Acqua, and it cost me £41. And I mean, that's relatively expensive for me, but for a discontinued perfume that I'm probably never going to see again for that kind of price, and for a bottle I love so much, and for something I know that I'm actually going to wear, this has got like a special protective cap on it. I literally can't believe it happened. As I said, I have had a very lucky week. I literally couldn't believe it when this arrived. I could not believe it. And I'll tell you what, I had no idea, because I normally look at Perfume Click on my phone or on my tablet, so I see the mobile version of it, right? Now, I haven't had time to go through and actually find another thing, but if you go on the actual proper web version, so if you scroll down to the bottom of the thing on your mobile phone and then you click on view web version, or you just look at it on a PC, it will look more like this. And then what it is, it will have the different sizes you have of something here, and if there is a damaged box that's cheaper, or there's something that's been opened, there's a little thing under here saying, almost like a little marketplace thing. And that, like, I now have this. Again, don't hate me, I'm sorry, because it's so expensive to buy bottles of this, and they're so hard to find. It's like a full unicorn, and I'm not a unicorn hunter, but when I saw it, I was like, I would literally be insane not to buy that. I would be mad not to buy it. I just can't even believe it. So I've saved the little sample I've got, because I'm going to wear that on my anniversary on the 7th. I'm taking it up for our holiday, and that's what I'm going to be wearing on that Wednesday. My husband hasn't smelt this yet, but he's seen the bottle, because when it arrived I was so excited. I was telling him all about it, and he was like, oh, nice one. So, and when I told him it was like 200 quid, and he looked at it and he went, for a bottle that size? He can't believe it, because I've never really had like a bottle that's really expensive. I don't kind of buy like BDK or any of that kind of thing. So anyway, but what I was going to say is, on eBay, you can still get samples of this quite easily. You can get like 3 samples for 12 quid or whatever, but you can also get little 6ml bottles relatively easily still. So you can still kind of get hold of it. And also, I haven't tried it, but someone in my comments said, because this is almost what I bought before I saw this, generic perfumes have a perfume oil that's quite affordable, and you can get posted to the UK. You can get just like a little one, I think it's like super super bargain. It's maybe like only £15 or something, maybe cheaper. And the person who commented, hello to you if you're watching this, said that it was really, really good. So maybe I'll try and get a little one of that so I can do a proper comparison for you and let you know if it really smells like it. But yeah, I mean, I'm literally just telling you that because I cannot believe it happened. Like, I can't actually believe that I managed to get that, and I can't believe it cost me that much, because I've seen like smaller bottles for 200 quid, which is mad. Maybe actually same size bottles. I don't know if they ever did 30 mils of these. I'm not sure. But anyway, yeah. So anyway, that's my tip. Perfume Click are a really great site, but yeah, try to look at the actual web version, because I think you'll get more options. And annoyingly, they don't have an area where they've got like their seconds, which they totally should have. I don't know why they don't do that, but anyway, yeah, so that was my general week. Now, if you want to stay tuned, I can tell you about all the things that I went and sniffed in Westfield. So okay, let's see. So because I had Donna Acqua, now I have in the past, like in Selfridges or somewhere else, I've smelt the original Donna, and I've smelt the original Donna Born in Roma, but I hadn't really, to be honest, I couldn't particularly remember, so I thought I'd refresh my memory. And what I said in my Donna Acqua video is that I'd never really found a Valentino that I particularly liked, and I didn't have any in my collection. And this is the first. I mean, I might have had something when I was a kid, but I don't really remember. But this is the first and only Valentino currently in my collection. So I was thinking to myself, I'm just going to have a sniff of all of them. And as it turns out, I just seem to I quite like the flankers of things, it seems. I've never got to smell the other one like Donna Acqua that was called Rosa Verde, but I would be willing to bet that I really like that perfume, because it's supposed to smell a bit like Green Tea by Elizabeth Arden. And I think it's like a kind of citrusy, fresh rose, you know, with lovely bit of tea. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go and sniff these. And yeah, so there's a couple that I really need to get my hands on, like either tiny bottles or little samples of, so I can really try to wear them, because they smelt really nice to me. However, if I start with, so I tried, let me just have a little look here. Donna. So it's like fresher and softer than I remember, but it's also quite sweet, and I feel like it smells like other things. I feel like my memory of Donna, which I think might be accurate, is that it kind of smells like lots of other things a little bit, you know. It's got a little bit of that vibe. I'm not entirely sure what though, but I kind of feel like a lot of them smell a bit like My Way by Armani, even if they haven't got tuberose in, which I'm not sure how, but I feel that's a thing. So let's see. Born in Roma. Oh yes, okay. So this one I really did get a bit of a vibe of like My Way and Lontidi, but a bit lighter. And then when I got home, I had a look at Fragrantica, and it said that its top comparison was Paradox, and I totally, yes, okay, because Paradox to me smells like lots of other perfumes smushed together, and one of the things it really smells like is My Way, but like really bit heavier in like Jasmine. So I think I might be right there. I think Born in Roma has a little bit of a vibe of kind of the Lontidis and My Way, but it's kind of, I think it's maybe slightly more approachable. It's less kind of sickly sweet. It's really pretty. I thought it was nice, but it's not one that I'd ever want to wear. Born in Roma Intense, absolutely hated it immediately, literally smelled it and went nope. And that one, it's basically just smelled like jasmine and vanilla to me, so I really didn't like that one at all. And then I checked when I got home, and it said Alien Goddess Intense was one of its like comparisons, and I mean that is just my absolute nemesis, you know. Anything that smells like Alien, my nemesis. It's way too jasmine-y, it's just not my kind of thing. And then so for actual Donna, as I said, like I still, Donna I think is one that I'd also quite like to get a little sample of, just to try it out and see if I can kind of recognise what's going on with it a bit more, because I thought it was quite pretty, but I couldn't really pick much out from it. Whereas the one that I really wanted to sniff, and I was really happy I did, was Coral Fantasy. And when I was sniffing it, I kind of had a little bit of a feeling like It gave me the same feels that my Guess Dare does, and I love that perfume. It's like it's fruity in a not so typical way. It's got florals that have a slightly spring blossomy vibe about them, and then it's got this soft musk that comes out when it dries down. So, because I think it's got like kiwi fruit in the top, which is like really interesting, and maybe there's like orange or something that kind of mixes together to give this slightly tropical fruit smell. It has got jasmine, but there's rose in this one as well, so that tempers that jasmine, so it's just really pretty. And I really liked this one. I thought it was really nice. Whether I would need it or not, I don't know, because it's not one that I actually got to try on my skin. But when I smelt it on the card, I was like, I want to investigate that one a bit further, just in case I see a bargain, and I want to snap it up. So the it was compared to Lempicka, but I don't really like Lempicka very much. I think that one's a little bit sharp. It's too shampooey. And I think that Coral Fantasy was just kind of sweeter and nicer in general. I didn't get that same kind of harsh shampoo vibe from that I get from Lempicka. So I liked that one. Donna, Yellow Dream. Is that Born in Roma? Are these born? Is this Born in Roma? Anyway, the Yellow Dream one from Valentino. I said, I'm reading from my notes. Soft and light, actually thought it was rather pretty too. Musky rose and lemon, surprisingly delicate. Maybe I need to get my nose on the lighter scents in order to appreciate Valentino perfumes. I do think that's the case, actually. So I'm going to try and get maybe a carded sample of this and the coral one as well. So I think that one was really pretty. I mean, it's quite simple, really just rose, lemon, musk. That's what it smelled like as well. So really, really nice. I think, oh yes, how do you say this? Volce Viva? I hope that, or Volce Viva? So the regular one, I said it smelled okay. I said it kind of smells like a classic signature scent in a way, not particularly unique. And I said again, there feels like a little bit of that Paradox vibe, Prada Paradox, where it's got a little bit of everything. It's got like little vibes from loads of different perfumes. And I mean, I think the sweet orange blossom thing doesn't necessarily work very well for me, so it's not my favourite, but I think the bottle's really beautiful. I think that if you do like orange blossom and you like sweet orange blossom, it would be amazing perfume to just wear whenever you fancy, like all the time, really. The Volce, I don't know how to say it, Volce Viva Intense. I always want to say Vita, I said it was really irritating to me. It was like vanilla, orange blossom, and jasmine sambac, and then it's plus moss, because I checked it when I got home. And I think it's compared to Far Away from Avon, but I think it's got totally different dominant florals. So I think it's, again, more paradoxy, and actually maybe even leaning towards Libre and Black Opium, that one, because of that really sweet vanilla, orange blossom and jasmine sambac, and then it's got this kind of earthy moss in it. So I really didn't like the intense version. Okay, so let's move on to the Burberry section. So Burberry, I tried Burberry Woman because I see that perfume for like 14 quid on Notino and other places all the time, super cheap. It's the one in the kind of round bottle that's kind of supposed to be like a really peachy perfume. So I sprayed it on card, couldn't smell it. Sprayed it on my skin, couldn't smell it. Sprayed it again, could barely smell it. So I just left that one. I thought I'm going to smell it when I'm out of the shop. And so it did start to develop a bit, but it was still light, but also weirdly also a bit sickly. And I kept sniffing it and thinking, this reminds me of something. What does it remind me of? It really reminds me of something. And then I realised it reminds me of Eve, All About Eve from Jope. That is an apple perfume, but it smells a bit like an apple and vanilla candle. And I think Burberry Woman, when you actually get that scent warming up and coming through, it's not strong, the modern version, but it smells like a peachy version of Jope, so it kind of smells like an apple, peach and vanilla candle. So I think, although there's something really charming about it, I kind of enjoyed it in a way. I also think so many people would find that really sickly and unpleasant. So it's not one I need a bottle of at all, or even like a small miniature of, but it was really interesting to smell it. And I think I'd probably maybe would enjoy wearing it. I'd certainly enjoy it on other people. I also smelled Touch, and that one it smells like soap, man. I wasn't expecting it. So it's clean, spicy, quite an easy reach maybe if you like soapy perfumes. I definitely got the red pepper, a lot of the red pepper. I got blackberry. There's mossy greenness, but there's really, really soapy florals. It's not one that I'd want to actually buy to wear, because I think the soapiness, maybe the more it dries down, the more it veered towards a shampoo-y kind of soap rather than like a sweet bar soap. So, but it was really interesting to smell that one as well. Like, I sniffed it in there before, but I'd actually tried it on my skin this time along with Burberry. So this is the thing, I had so many of these things on my skin, by the time I got round to Valentino I couldn't actually spray them on. But you can get Touch and Burberry for super cheap, so I was really and Burberry for women, I mean, you can get them really cheap, so they're quite good, like easy reaches if you like those kind of perfumes. I finally got round to trying Donna Chantilly, which I've looked at loads. When I first sprayed it, it was rank, and I don't really know how else to say that. It just smelled very vintage, very perfumey, quite weird and green, and it's like the unpleasantness of like almost like, you know, the kind of daffodil milk, that kind of bitter florals and bitter greens mixed in with like a really slightly sweet perfume. And I was like, oh no. I sprayed it on card, but it got all over my fingers. And then when I smelled them out my fingers a bit later, it dried down into smelling quite nice and like a sort of baby powdery kind of scent. So I kind of understand why people like that one. What else? So, oh my God, there's so much here. I'm going to have to just go through and try not to take forever. So I retried Amarige because in my brain I like Amarige, but actually I don't really like Amarige. I appreciate it, but I find it super uncomfortable to wear. And what I realised is it kind of reminded me a little bit of the original Gloria Vanderbilt, which is a perfume that for certain periods while I'm wearing that one, or while I have worn it, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was beautiful. And then at other times when I got a whiff of it, it made me feel very, very uncomfortable. There's something about the tuberose in those perfumes. I feel like I always thought I really liked perfumes with tuberose in, but I think I'm actually very, very fussy about tuberose. I think I love the smell, but I only like it for short periods of time. I think if it smells like tuberose without like a really, really fruity, maybe slightly tangy vibe mixed in with it, I find it uncomfortable to wear. So yeah, I definitely don't need Amarige, and actually, to be honest, I do prefer the original Gloria Vanderbilt. But it's like really intense floral, totally smells like pee when you first spray it, as a lot of those old florals do. And then it dries down with like a slightly vanillic tone underneath, but not for me. So, Moschino Pink Bouquet smells like baby powder and fruity bubblegum, which it's got a gingerbread note, right? So it might be the sweet gingerbread mixing with a very synthetic smelling raspberry and pineapple. It doesn't last particularly long. It reminded me a little bit of my Ulric de Varens cotton musk in the deep dry down. And yeah, I think people don't. My opinion of this one, I did try this on my skin as well. My opinion of this one doesn't really seem to match up particularly with the reviews on Grande. So I don't really know, because the top comparison here is Versace Versus Time for Pleasure, which is the one in the pink bottle with the chain. And I used to have that one when it first came out in 2003 or 2006 or whenever it was. And I remember that one being far fruitier, not quite as kind of powdery, less kind of, baby powdery, clean smelling. I remember it smelling like a fruity shampoo. So, I don't know. That might be one to try. If you can get it for cheap, I thought it was quite pretty. It's not one I need, but I definitely got a bubblegum vibe when I first sprayed that one. And I remember thinking, this is kind of bubblegum before they actually did the Toy 2 bubblegum, Oh, okay. People might be mad at me for this one. So I smelt Jean Paul Gaultier Label, and all I wrote for this was cloying and sickly. But I would say I was interested in the cooked pear element of it, but it is not my sort of vanilla in this. It's a very thick, very perfumey vanilla. And it's just not, yeah, it's very much to me a vanilla perfume with a bit of cooked pear rather than the other way around. So I really did not like that one. I also went and sniffed Le Beau, which is nice. It's not particularly mind-blowing, and I think it feels like a masculine version of a perfume that I've got by Oriflame called Amber Elixir Crystal. And that one is also, that one's got like violet and seawater, but it's got coconut, it's got tonka bean, it's got a little bit of vanilla. I think it's got, is it grapefruit in that one? So yeah, I mean, it gave me that sun kind of vibe, but with a slight masculine tilt. Oh, I smelt one that I've only ever seen on Fragrantica, and I've never actually seen for sale anywhere, which is Vanderbilt in Red. So what I said about this one is it was very light. It totally disappeared from my skin in about 20 minutes because I did spray it. I kept trying to find it on my arm and I couldn't. And then it's apparently a rose perfume, but I didn't really pick much up other than watery, fruity, floral. I couldn't really pick anything out from that one, so not impressed. 212 Sexy by Carolina Herrera, and I wrote meh, boring. So the OG classic clean scent, this one is sweet and pink clean and is less interesting somehow. So yeah, I feel like it's still got a kind of clean vibe to it, but it's got cotton candy in it as well. And again, like I was just like, it might be really nice, but meh. I'm going to skip over Jimmy Choo Flash because randomly I bought something and someone gave me a little free sample of that, so I'll be able to talk about that in a proper thing. I had to try it when I saw the bottle. Safari by Ralph Lauren. All right, vintage to the max, a vintage old-fashioned green beast. Did not like anything about this one. Someone's compared it to Lush by Pansy, and I don't like that one either. So yeah, just really, there was nothing about it that was floating my boat. And I can't really pick out anything other than just screamed vintage in a very kind of classic perfumey old-fashioned way that I don't really enjoy. And I don't know if there's jasmine in it, but I know Pansy is one I really don't like. It smells very green at first and then it turns into like a far too jasmine-y perfume for me. Okay, what else have we got? White Linen. That's an Estee Lauder perfume, and I'm sure, I was looking at the bottle and I was thinking to myself, I'm sure I had a bottle of this once. I probably didn't buy it. It was probably given to me by like my gran or my mum or someone, but I swear I had that bottle on my little table when I was a kid. And when I smelt it, there was something nostalgic about it. It smells like a really pure, very old-fashioned soap. I can't remember. What is it called? Not Cousins. There was a really fancy soap in the UK that now would not at all be considered fancy, and it came in a red wrapper, like a bar soap. And I feel like that's what it smells like. It's incredibly aldehydic. It's super nostalgic, but nowadays it would just be way too much for me. It's kind of just too soapy. But I also kind of love it and found it comforting. I don't need a bottle of it at all, but I kind of like that one. The Brittany turquoise bottle, otherwise known as Circus Fantasy. So it's the nicest fantasy that I've smelt. I genuinely think that. I think it's really youthful and light. I thought it was definitely smelling like raspberry sweeties. And then I came back and I had a look at Fragrantica, and it's compared to More by Cacharel. But I think it's much less vampy, much lighter than that, much fruitier. And I've said, I think what it might be is it's almost the love child of my Bruno Benini Woman's Best and my Lolita Lempicka So Sweet, because it has the raspberry fruity tanginess and the kind of effervescent raspberry cherry kind of vibe, like the Haribo vibe of this. But then it has a little bit of the kind of florally vibe, the kind of fruity floral vibe that you get from a More. But my Woman's Best is kind of like a really low-key, not vampy, light, easy to wear, more transparent and less patchouli heavy version of a More. So yeah, it's just cute. I liked it. Okay, Guy Laroche Fiji. I've wanted to smell it for ages and I just wrote green. So it's a really old school earthy green, and it has like that muddy, mossy vibe that I don't enjoy in a lot of old school green perfumes. I can't really get along with it. It was really interesting to smell it, but no. Oof. Okay, buckle up for this one because some people have suggested that I smell these perfumes, and I do not mean to insult anyone. This is extremely a personal taste thing. So, Rihanna. The Rihanna Rebel, the black bottle, and the Rogue and the Rogue Love. I smell all three of those. And literally, I sprayed them on the card. I sniffed them. I was like, nope, straight in the bin. Nope, straight in the bin. Nope, straight in the bin. And that is because they are all way too strong in the patchouli for me. Absolutely too strong in the patchouli. So I just absolutely hated them. But I hate fruit choulis. It's my worst scent profile, for perfumes. I really despise all fruit. The only one I've ever smelled that I didn't actively hate was True Reflection by Kim Kardashian, because it has a chocolate orchid in it, so it's got a slightly chocolatey note and it's really light compared to a lot of fruit chilies. So it wasn't excessively sweet and strong as most fruit chilies. These smell really classically fruit chili to me, and the problem is because I hate that profile so much, I always find them generic, and I have no idea which fruit is in there. I have no idea which floral's in there, because everything just smells like sugary patchouli, like overly sweet patchouli. So yeah, it's like my nose literally rejects fruit chilies. I can't cope with them. So yeah, I've actually written here, it's a bit like the way my ears are towards heavy metal. It's like, when there's like a genre of music that you just can't get along with, and so you hear every song and you just think they all kind of sound like the same song. That is like perfume version of like fruit chilies for me. It's like my heavy metal. I'm like, that all sound, my husband can listen to things, I'm like, I can't tell which band you're listening to, they all sound the same, all those songs sound the same. And no offense to anyone who likes heavy metal, because I'm sure there is like maybe a couple of Metallica songs or whatever, and they're not that heavy, but it's just not my vibe. I just don't really, it's one of the few genres of music that I don't really enjoy. Anyway, digress again. The yellow bottle of Signorina, which is called Libera, I think it's called. I'm being rude again. It says, so dull I instantly forgot the scent. So according to Fragrantica, it smells like God is a woman, this one, which I do like. And I said, so it's probably similar to that, but nothing groundbreaking, and it has ambroxan in it, and I don't get along with ambroxan. That molecule just doesn't smell good to me, so it's kind of not a surprise that I sniffed it and then went, ooh, no. There's nothing to kind of investigate for me here. Really pretty bottle though. Original Juicy Couture, very sweet flowers, very sweet tuberose, not keen, a bit too sickly for me. I think it was too sweet for how floral it is. I find, like I said, I think I find that with a lot of tuberose perfumes. L'Entity, I think the original one especially, has a really nice balance of like a really juicy fruity pear with the tuberose. And then, I mean, I don't like the patchouli in that one, but whereas like My Way by Armani is so sugary sweet that I find it sickly. So yeah, I mean, I wasn't keen. It was interesting. I didn't really know what to expect from Juicy Couture. I've never really smelt it before, but it is quite a recognisable profile, so I've probably smelt lots of people wearing that. I'm sure it's very popular, but I never bought it. I never went to sniff it because I don't like the bottles, and I didn't like Juicy Couture. I hated those tracksuits. So like, I just wasn't really interested, so I haven't smelt it until now. It's compared on Fragrantica to Sarah Jessica Parker Covet Pure Bloom. And that's the purple bottle of Covet, and that I can kind of see that. That's quite a shampooey, relatively sweet and light tuberose perfume with, I think, maybe plum or something fruity in there. But I think I can see the similarity, but realistically, Juicy Couture is way sweeter because it's got caramel in it. Guess for Women, which is the silver bottle in the shape of a G with like kind of pinky purple liquid. I've written standard fruity floral, bit sharp and unexciting. Peony is to blame for slightly piercing note, I imagine. And then I looked it up. It's got magnolia, apple, peony, and it's Versace Crystal Noir style. And I don't like that one either. So yeah, I mean, I don't get along with peony. I find it literally pierces my brain. So I can't get along with that one. Issey Miyake, a scent I've wanted to smell that one for ages. I know I see Ruth Ann talk about that one quite a lot. I say it's very unisex and green. It's a classic lemon verbena kind of smell to my nose. So it's not really one I feel I need, but I think it's really fresh and pretty. But yeah, it's just not one that I would buy. And then last but not least, the Billie Eilish perfume, the original one, the gold boobs. Am I allowed to say tits on here? The gold tits rather than the kind of bronzy, deep silvery tits. Actually, maybe it is kind of a bronzy gold and then like a kind of gunmetal tits. But I hate those bottles. I'm not really interested. I love boobs, don't get me wrong, but the whole cut off head thing is the bit that I don't like about it, and it's so plasticky. I just don't like it. And not because I'm a prude. I'd rather just have the boobs without any of the rest of it. If you're going to cut someone's head off, cut it off properly and make it out of glass. Sorry, I'm being really cheeky. I feel cheeky today. But that perfume, I sprayed that on and I was like, I know this smell. It really smells like a slightly fruitier version of, and a very slightly more floral version of my beloved Al Nuaim chocolate musk. So I have the oil of that perfume, and I absolutely love chocolate musk. I think it's delicious. It smells slightly caramelly. It's got a slight chocolate vibe. It's really, really pretty, that perfume. Love it. It does have florals in it. I'm not sure if it has fruit. I can't remember what the actual notes are, but it's just so comforting, sweet and lovely. The Billie Eilish one, I find that I don't love the more fruity floral that goes along with that smell, but generally speaking, it very much felt like wearing, because I sprayed that one on my skin, so it very much felt like my Al Nuaim chocolate musk. Not to be mixed up with Al Rahab Choco Musk, because I hate that one. It's just vanilla to me. I just don't like that perfume. But the Al Nuaim one, honestly. So if you like the kind of general vibe of the Billie Eilish perfume, but you either A, don't want to spend that kind of money, or B, you don't want a pair of tits on your dresser, which is totally fine because that is not an attractive bottle, then to me, find what anyone else likes. I just don't. I can do kitsch, but I don't really like that bottle. Yeah, I mean, I would highly recommend trying to get hold of Al Nuaim Chocolate Musk, because I really do think it's got a very similar vibe, and probably a similar level of sweetness as well, a similar level of kind of chocolate, and a similar level of just a general creamy, caramelly, sweet, cozy vibe, you know, and it's just really nice. And I think you can get... I haven't tried the spray, so I can't speak on that, but in terms of the actual oil, I think you can get that for between like £10 and £15. Sometimes it takes a while to get delivered, but it's considerably cheaper and will last you way longer than the Billie Eilish perfume. So I actually quite liked it. I mean, I think it's quite nice. It doesn't smell like massively interesting, and as I've said with my chocolate musk, it doesn't smell expensive. Like, my chocolate musk smells quite synthetic and cheap, but I really enjoy it nonetheless, and I feel the same way about Billie Eilish. So yeah, I mean, it was way nicer than I was expecting it to be, but yeah, so oh my god, I've been talking for so long. Right, so that is it for this week. Thank you again so much for subscribing. If you watch me all the time, if you could check if you're subscribed, because what I realised a while back is that I watch Maria Colette all the time and then I wasn't subscribed to her channel, because the algorithm will keep suggesting her videos to me, and yet I thought I was subscribed, and then I saw the Soki London thing, or it wasn't even that, it was longer ago than that, but it came up and I was like, wait a minute, hang on a second, why isn't she in my subscriptions? So it does that. So if you watch me all the time, it's amazingly helpful to any creators on YouTube if you follow them and subscribe and give us likes as well. So yeah, like I said, I'm going on holiday, so I will be back. I have a hopefully lovely impromptu video that I made this week going up on Wednesday, and then I've got something for Friday as well, but I will be doing my what I wore last week, where I'll fit you in on what I wore on my kind of honeymoon stroke anniversary holiday, and hopefully I'll be creating some videos with my husband while we're away, with him sniffing some little samples. So I will get that all up as soon as possible. I hope everyone has a beautiful week. I am planning to have a wonderful week, and all of you subscribers have made it wonderful for me forever. It's so exciting. Let me know what you've been wearing. Let me know if you've got any of these, and yeah, lots of comments please. I love talking to you guys. Bye.